Well, this department, A&E, is seen as a bit of a barometer of how the whole NHS is performing. Why is the health service under such intense, relentless pressure? Owain spent 24 hours with the staff and the patients here.
Okay, so airway, we're happy with this airway.
When the going gets tough, it's this team's job to respond. It's just after 9 in the morning. A man with serious stab wounds has just been rushed in. However busy the emergency unit is, when a life's at risk, they'll get priority. It couldn't have been more different 12 hours before when we arrived. It's 10 p.m. and bar some walking wounded, reception is empty.
I've just been told to come here by my physio.
Yet things can change within minutes.
Recess.
2 emergency cases come in, a suspected heart attack and a woman who's lost a lot of blood. Both will need to be moved to the wards, and that's the case for all the patients waiting in this area. The medical assessment unit is behind A&E. Patients come here to wait for beds to become available upstairs. GPs can also send patients here. Whether it's the middle of the day or, like now, the middle of the night, this place is never quiet, and staff are almost always stretched.
Once we're full and the wards are full, the flow of the hospital is blocked. Nobody can have a real understanding unless you are here doing the job. It is really hard.
This place can sometimes be overwhelmed by the number of elderly patients coming in, many over 90 years old. They often need complicated care and sometimes have to stay in hospital for a long time, which can lead to bed shortages.
I have bronchiectasis and no end of the things wrong with me, which has brought me in here. Sort of an emergency, really.
There are no beds available on the wards tonight, and this is a problem because it's not as comfortable for my mum as a proper bed would be. But hopefully there'll be something in the morning. Even after older patients get treated, they might need a lot of care at home, which can lead to delays in discharging them. It's a vicious circle. This winter, there were lots of cases of flu, and there was a longer period when GPs weren't working over Christmas and the New Year. Staff say the system almost buckled.
Quite a few people were sick, actually. And therefore, we had to, barrier nurse them. We couldn't, put them in open spaces. We had to keep them in cubicles.
So bits of this department are full, others are filling up. There are some real pressures on the system tonight, but you wouldn't have thought that if you looked at reception. It's virtually empty. That's why appearances can sometimes be deceiving. It's the early hours and time for another update, and there's worrying news from the ambulance service.
So we have a couple of crews covering, which means for us that our calls will come in with greater distance of time between them. Just gives us a little bit of a breather.
So ironically, having fewer crews out in the ambulance service does stagger things a little bit.
It does, very much so, yes.
So explain to me, so a couple of crews covering how big an area then?
Cardiff and the Vale.
All of Cardiff and the Vale, 2 crews?
Yeah.
We didn't have to wait long to see what she means. By 1 a.m, there were 28 patients waiting for beds to become available in the hospital. And it's a constant challenge.
It's like it being a juggler, but you can't drop any balls. Once you start dropping balls, then that could mean patients' lives. That could mean putting patients at risk.
So it's help us one. The department is now full, so we've had enough ambulances in to fill majors, to fill surge capacity, and I've moved everything I can across to assessment units, so they are now full. From now on, it will be a very tight move through the hospital. It'll be 1 in, 1 out.
And very quickly, the result of that is this. No spaces inside mean delays in transferring patients from ambulances.
Quite often recently they say, there's no space inside, so we have to wait outside with the patient, monitor them continuously until there's space. Well, recently is every day.
Really? Mm-hmm. So you will have full A&E's queues every day? Mm-hmm. Put simply, it's a waiting game now for patients elsewhere in the hospital to be discharged, so that those in A&E can move on. The ebb and flow continues for the next few hours, but all too soon, the pressure is on again.
All right, so I'm going to talk to the radiologist.
Yeah, please organise the CT scan as early as possible.
The team's response means the stab wound victim is quickly out of immediate danger, but he's just one of around 400 cases they'll see today. They'll get a little respite in a system that all too often these days is under pressure.